It has been a long season, and G2 and FaZe both have had their ups and downs, but now it seems like both teams hitting their strides at the right time. But this is going to be an epic battle because we've seen them go head-to-head multiple times in the past, and it's always lived up to the hype.
Absolutely. And this one is really going to probably come down to it as well, because, you know, they're going to be playing in this endurance gauntlet of, multiple series here. We'll find out which one is the definitive best.
Pyro trying to force things early. And like you said, Dazzler, this is going to be a gauntlet. And we saw earlier today the Solary Queso matchup. I don't know if anything can live up to that one. But, you know, it's a long road ahead of these teams. And they'll have to keep some gas in the tank. Already trading some blows. Chicago off to the side. JNaps, that could be heading towards net. You see AJ having to tap that off to the side, picking up full boost. Long clear from Gyro. And we're seeing possession swap back and forth. Big clears. See demos coming out from both sides.
Keep Drees on the radar here, especially from knowing just that type of situation that he was brought into the G2 roster, but also knowing that this is one of the more higher pressure situations of his entire Rocket League career, and he has to go up against a gauntlet of a bracket. You're going to be wanting to see how he fares over the course of these long series.
Low boost, and you saw that little touch, Subi.
That was a close one. And, you know, how fitting is it that both of these teams are playing each other here in the regional championships when they were both battling at one time for that 6th seed? And, you know, we all know how it ended with FaZe barely squeaking in. And, you know, they talked about it, how FaZe has yet to beat them as FaZe Clan. The last time that they've taken G2 down was when they were the Peeps. So what a time to come out and really prove a statement here during the championship week.
FaZe battle tested. It went the distance in the major this last spring split. G2 edged them out in 7, but even before that, like you said, had to edge out Shopify Rebellion, and that went 7 games as well. Gyro, that sole player left from the legendary Peep squad that captured our imagination in Montreal. And since then, Gyro having tons of success. And right now, could help lead his team to more.
The evolution of the Peeps has gone a long way, and we've seen so many players rise from that, have many forms of the Peeps that we have seen. And now the last iteration on this phase. They're playing it close here. You see G2 already starting off with some decent offensive drives.
And you're going to have to watch out. Decent offensive drives. You know, usually decent isn't the word you're picking. You're usually picking marvelous, spectacular, exemplary. Because JNaps in Chicago have been lights out. If you look at the majors and take those games, JNaps in Chicago sharing the lead right now in scoring 0.91 goals per game for each of them. And then you look at assists, tied as well for that. And they're up there near the top. So Chicago and JNaps, the dynamic duo when it comes to offense in the North American region. And it's really what's helped elevate G2 and be in this position where they could make a run in the championship.
Yeah. Well, and don't just limit it to just goals, because you got to think about the pressure that they put on teams as well as the pressure's coming there. But they also are first and second, Chicago and JNaps respectively. Gets hit by him.
Chicago didn't rotate out. He's got 12 boost. Still goes for the infield pass to JNaps, who gets bodied on the shot. Chicago, it was an 18-mile-an-hour hit, but it's the placement that's important.
And AJ, he was so confident he had a clear there. Didn't see Chicago land right on top of the ball. Almost looking like they're going to pick up a kickoff goal, but AJ is there in time and does get a solid clear. Those small touches and a little bit of misplays are going to be highlighted over the course of these long series, and they could make the difference as things continue on.
You know, James, I was really impressed with how long they kept pressure there. It just felt like G2 was in the phase half for 2 to 3 minutes there.
And it's true. Yeah, I mean, just look at the shots. Subi, 9 shots already for G2 to just 2. And then you see that ball bouncing over Illusion's head. Even there, AJ and Illusion having to take their time and work out who's going to go after that ball. Big boom. AJ getting challenged by Dree. Chicago trying to get around it. You saw Drees thinking about going for the demo. Drees, we've seen him get physical, and that's important because that's the role that Rizzo used to play on this G2 squad.
Yeah, Rizzo was a monster for G2. You know, not only just for the demos, but pure aggression. He was constantly in the opponent's half looking for demos and looking for boosts. He was third in all of North America for demos inflicted on his opponents, and then second for boost stolen. So Drees, he's got a lot of work to put in because he's down in the 50s and 30s for that. But there's a shot on target, and Gyro tying this series up.
Look at this.
We've got a long way to go, Dez.
I know. It really starts with just the amount of space you're seeing in between all these teams. AJ with space in the air, especially in your box, can't give him that. He set up Gyro perfectly to get that tying goal.
11 seconds left. AJ, the lead scorer for FaZe, and you're seeing why. Brilliant mechanics. Another hard shot will be saved from JNaps. JNaps keeping the ball airborne. Chicago gonna be denied by AJ on the goal line, able to keep it out. And we've got a thriller game one shaping up.
This is great. You're seeing the battle between two different play styles. We talked Chicago earlier. That's G2 play style. There it is. Drees with the game one victory's goal.
Oh, and just look at his face on this one. Pure composure as he sends in the OT game winner. Everyone was wondering, does this kid have the mentality to get G2 to the finish line? Well, I think we're getting a glimpse of that here.
And what a difficult spot Drees is walking into. We've seen that throughout the history of the RLCS, whether it be Over Zero back in Season 1 or Turbo Pulso back in Season 3, where you have these people who are not supposed to be playing on these big stages, and they come up and they make a name for themselves. And Drees is doing just that. When we first saw him, I wasn't that impressed with Drees. I thought, he was coming in, obviously had some big shoes to fill. He was playing well enough, but it was more the Chicago and JNap show. But what we're seeing now is that Drees is leaving his stamp on these games, and that was a massive way to start out this set.
They're going to need to keep up that pace over the course of time. You could tell game one started off pretty slow pace, but boy, in the final minute, did it pick up. And now I think we're going to be ready to go. We're already seeing a shot come in. JNap's off the crossbar to start off game two.
And I really think that when Drees joined the roster, obviously there's nerves. You're now thrust into, hundreds of thousands of viewers' eyes, but also he didn't want to come in and try and shake up G2's playstyle because they've been so successful for so long. So he was just trying to figure out how to plug and play, and now it's looking like he is a perfect addition to this G2 roster.
It makes you wonder, if G2 ends up making a deep run, will he be able to hold on to that spot? With a performance this week, he might be able to. Many eyes going to be on Drees. Lots of pressure. He's handled it so far. Even there, going for the 50. But Drees didn't stop there in traffic jam. You don't see that too often.
Drees did not feel like moving. Meanwhile, we're seeing these carries from FaZe. You look at them go into the air, and you know something's bound to happen. And that's why you're seeing G2 get up as fast as they are. If Gyro starts an air dribble, he's getting almost pre-jumped by Drees because G2 know they cannot give these guys room to work with. It's almost always a dangerous threat on offense when they do.
And Daz, I want to know if you feel the same way, because I really feel like FaZe could benefit from the Gyro of old, the aggressive Gyro that we knew and loved from Peeps when he was teamed up with Reddles and he was teamed up with, all the great players that he's been with. But it seems like ever since AJ joined this squad, he's really kind of pulled the reins back.
I can see that because it's definitely a different style of play. But for me, it's like you see AJ, you see that grind, and we can talk about that in a moment. Chicago, look at this shot.
Drees, you have to give him credit, though, getting underneath that ball. And we've seen that a couple times now, even thinking back to the Chicago pass to JNaps in the middle. Very similar situation. And G2 is one of those teams that is not afraid to play very close on their teammate's tail. And in the corner, G2 has been dominant. Drees up again. Will fake the shot. The follow-up went off crossbar. Chicago could have had the second.
Oh no, Chicago hitting the crossbar.
They're already happening.
He's got a block teammates now for a month. You got to be able to hit those shots. They're up by 1 right now, but you don't want to start that trend.
Was that on first touch where he said that if I hit the crossbar that I'm not going to be following you teammates?
He's just getting it out of the way early. Oh, and an own goal?
And this own goal going to be tough. You see Illusion fighting through, then gets the demo. Gyro knows all he's got to do is get that to the middle. You see Dreesen getting bumped there. And so this is a tough situation for G2. They just come off a wonderful play where they could have got that second goal. Chicago hits the crossbar, and now we're all tied up. This is second life here for FaZe in game 2.
Man, you can see they got almost a second wind as well. That was a great pass play right off the kickoff between Gyro and AJ. Defense from G2 a little stretched out. And you also see the pressure affecting Drees a little bit because he's rushing back so fast to get to that ball that he ends up own goaling in that situation. And this is only the first series, and this is only the second game.
JNap's looking for Drees. Drees will play it downfield, low boost. Gyro, you see that savvy little pop over Drees. JNap's trying to slow down the attack, gets the double. Drees, low on boost, beat by Illusion. Illusion to Gyro.
Oh,
Gyro there to punch it in. And FaZe's attack is starting to warm up.
Man, look at that. First the 50 from Illusion, then the awareness to quickly get it to Gyro. That is world class there from FaZe. Beautiful way for them to take the lead.
And beautiful car control as well to not only get that 50, but be able to recompose himself and get that pass back towards midfield. FaZe Clan looking so superb on offense. They're just having a tough time breaking out of their defensive half due to all those shots we're seeing from G2. And now you know why they're #1 in North America for shots on target.
But honestly, it was Gyro's calm play that kick-started that attack, dealing with the pressure from G2. He had Drees baited in, popped it over him, and that kick-started the attack. Now AJ going for a flip reset. Drees fakes the flick, and Gyro will still clear it.
We're seeing solo plays up and down the field. AJ, oh, Gyro! Gyro! Gyro!
And he salutes to the crowd, says, yes, sir, thank you very much. Nice little musty off the side wall to get the power onto the net, and FaZe Clan running away with game 2.
That shot, that's going to be on the replay package. Gyro perfectly timing that. You see Drees bamboozled by that shot, was not expecting that much power on the musty.
I mean, to be fair, were you?
It's tough. You have to be perfect on that situation. I mean, you see it. You see it happen. Most of the time, those are going towards the backboard. It's tough to be precise on those shots, but that was exactly where Gyro needed to put it. A lovely play. Gyro is having a phenomenal game for FaZe. JNap's peeling off that ball. We'll leave it. AJ hitting it upfield. Time running out for G2. Chicago up there, challenged by Gyro. Another challenge, and now it's a 1v1 situation. And the shot right at Illusion. And that seems to be the end of any chance G2 had.
Not unless that goes in, and almost good pass there in the box, but FaZe Clan gonna tie this series up, and I've got to be honest, they looked unstoppable here in game number 2.
And for me, the star player, without a doubt, was Gyro. Gyro, in that situation where, you know, FaZe is looking to get back in the lead, and Gyro baiting in Drees, kickstarting that attack, scoring, then hitting that musty flick. This was a heck of a game from Gyro. One of those performances where we might point back to and say, this is when FaZe caught fire. If they can keep playing like this, but the question is, can Gyro sustain this level of play, Daz?
That is a huge question. I mean, we're already seeing standout plays from Gyro. He shot 3 for 3 that game, which is very impressive in its own right. And you don't see AJ or Illusion doing anything. So I think this is really one of those games where, you know, if Gyro pops off, it's all the better for FaZe. It puts a lot less work on Illusion and AJ, which I think it will help overall.
Well, I agree.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
We already saw AJ start off well, getting that flip reset shot that ended up trickling out for FaZe to be able to score. So if AJ can keep bringing those mechanics like we just saw Gyro, if they can both heat up and Illusion gets involved in the play, this could be a very difficult hurdle for G2 to make it over.
And I think for FaZe to be successful, it's exactly what we're seeing. All the players have to step up. We saw that beautiful pass from Illusion. AJ's just been a nuisance for G2, but they have to respect him because he is a mechanical monster on the offensive end. And when he's not hitting is where G2 has to capitalize. But when you have Gyro doing what he's been doing, that's what makes it so tough. What a save by JNaps.
And G2 getting away with one. Infield pass from JNaps, Chicago to the corner. Now FaZe gearing up for the assault. JNaps the pinch. This is going to be tough for Drees. Can see him getting jostled. Gyro will collect it, but Chicago with a clutch clear is going to relieve a lot of pressure. Now AJ with the air dribble. Drees getting up in time. And this series started out with G2 putting on all the pressure, but the pendulum has swung back in favor of FaZe, Daz.
Yeah, a lot of confidence here in FaZe. I think they also are starting to point out that Drees factor that I mentioned earlier. We saw towards the end of the game, Drees put on, he had a lot of space. He was a 1v1 between, I think, him and Gyro. He just completely threw possession of the ball away. That's something that FaZe are going to pay attention to. And I see AJ going for some demos with Drees' last back, anything to see if they can get this guy shaken up, because they all know on the field, he's the one that doesn't have that experience. So getting inside his head is going to be helpful for FaZe. They're going to try to hammer on that.
See if they start targeting him with some demos. Hard shot to the corner. Knocked aside by Illusion. Drees popping it up. Will stay with it. Now AJ testing the back line of G2. Chicago clearing it right to JNaps, who puts it back to Chicago. And JNaps got another touch on it. Hard bounce off the side. Drees wins it. Chicago trying to take his time, but he didn't have it. And now a 3v1 situation. But well played by JNaps to get the clear out. Drees will tap that down. Didn't have enough boost to get a hard hit towards net. But still keeping this in the FaZe half before finally getting cleared out. Now Chicago up against AJ. An Illusion going low underneath Chicago. That was key to get this attack opportunity for FaZe.
Oh, they're still trying to play it up, too. You see Illusion looking for AJ to get played off on the side, but they do have to go back. Definitely have to refill on boost. This is going to be good for G2. We haven't seen too many pass plays coming out from them, though. I know Chicago says they like that. They like playing fast, finding each other, going for those infield plays, but we haven't seen too much of that. And I think that's just from FaZe being proactive in the midfield, especially when we see those transitions come out from G2. They're always on top of it.
The game that we did see G2 win, they were able to get those infield passes from the corner. AJ. Now Chicago booms it down. Gyro hard over to Illusion. Illusion taking advantage of the bumps from AJ. And Chicago off to the side.
Good harassment there from AJ into the blue half, and that's where FaZe has been successful. Is G2, you guys called it out, their passing plays haven't been here because they've just been so pressured. They've been constantly harassed in their own zone, and the pass can't get through, but it's still open up for Chicago. But Gyro gonna turn away. As you see on that boost meter, all three members of FaZe very low on boost, and AJ just got some.
And what a scrum that was. Chicago on the bottom of the pile fighting for the ball. G2 still on the attack, but what effort from Chicago there, trying to battle through that.
Oh, now they're starting to get those pass plays to connect as well. They know they have FaZe locked in, low boost. FaZe are desperately trying to get out of here, but G2 had so much control on that offensive drive. I think this one, with this push from AJ, he's finally going to be able to buy the team enough time to actually refill. That was definitely a close chance and one of G2's best opportunities to score so far this game.
Little tip out from Drees, a foot race between JNaps and AJ. Now Chicago up, double tap ball. Illusion breaks it up. Illusion, that was such a high pressure defensive situation. If he does not get a tip on that ball, Chicago's gonna double it. Drees Going for the control, but no shot was able to come. JNaps down to Chicago. Chicago, the low shot. Illusion off the backboard will bounce it out. Drees is there, goes high. JNaps lets it through, and Gyro will clear it downfield. Illusion couldn't keep it airborne, and we've got another overtime.
Back to back. Well, no, we didn't have one in game 2. We've had 2 so far this series alone. And you gotta wonder the toll is starting to take. Seeing FaZe be kind of pushed here to the back end. They haven't really been successful on offense, and G2 the other way around is starting to show up. You gotta wonder where this one's gonna go. The momentum has been swinging left and right between these 2 teams, but where is it gonna end up after this OT?
Yeah, it's tough to really tell who's on top at this moment. Both teams having those opportunities where they've looked like the better team on the attack, testing the defenses, but both defenses holding up. Drees scored the overtime winner in game 1. Trying to keep that ball in. Chicago all the way in the back. That's going to give AJ some space. You see him beating Chicago there. Drees off the ceiling. Chicago. Downfield Illusion pops up to AJ, who is still waiting in the corner. Will get a bump. And it is a battle, Subi. You can see all the bumps in the air. It's a war zone out there.
I mean, it's a war zone, but it's also, what a pass! JNaps ending it here in OT. But check out this pass, the vision all the way downfield from Drees.
Drees making the most of it. You saw the errant touch from AJ. He was trying to get the ball away from Chicago, ended up giving Drees the ball, and that shot from JNaps, man, that is just taking you back to season 6 when he was the golden striker. That was a time in JNaps' career where you felt like there was no better shooter. And I tell you what, these last few months, JNaps has elevated to that level again, in my opinion. He has been lights out on the shooting, and not only taking difficult shots, but in high pressure situations. And he comes through for G2.
He's been there when they need him to be. When you have someone who can shoot like that in JNaps, feeding him the ball is never a bad idea. And for JNaps, he had 6 shots this game. He's still putting on that offensive pressure when he gets those lanes in. And for FaZe, I mean, he's got to be the biggest threat on that team.
It's tough. There's so many threats, especially G2. You got Chicago and JNaps, the dynamic duo that you expect to be putting on all the offense. But Drees, he is just getting better and better. Every series, it seems like he's improving, Subi.
Well, I mean, right now, the biggest spotlight is on Drees because there's so many question marks surrounding him. And we've all been talking about it. What is he going to do? What is he going to bring? And right now, both overtimes, it's been because of him that G2 has won. He got the game 1 goal. And then here in game 3, he got that pass downfield. So in my opinion, he is overperforming right now. And G2 need to just ride this wave of momentum that they've got building.
And you talk about a wave of momentum. That last game in overtime, whoever won it was going to be put on match point for this first match. G2 and FaZe having to go the distance, but that game so important. Now G2 could close out this first match in the set.
You know, I gotta say as well, while there's a little break, this new overlay just brings a whole refreshing vibe to the broadcast. It went from like feeling like we were playing checkers, and now we're watching chess, getting to see all these boost meters and just getting to see everything going on kind of behind the scenes is so cool.
It is. I mean, it really lets you know when you have like these different situations. Like, look at this right now. FaZe so low on boost here, but this clear from AJ is going to be great. Now, if there was still pressure here from G2, G2 could have completely used that to their advantage, started playing the ball in the air a lot more, and actually getting those infield passes. Knowing that they can do that, depending on where those boost meters are, I mean, that's something even the players are a little bit jealous of.
For sure.
Information. That is the most key piece with that boost. And sometimes, you know, you see players who can fake like they have it, position like they have it, and try to just gain that, you know, that real estate to prevent the other team from going for it. Right now, G2 forced back on their own half. Nice little pass out to the sideline. Illusion will collect it. Going for the dribble.
Oh.
The last second shot beats that final defender, and FaZe are out on top.
I like this. First off, it's a slight fake into the catch. You see AJ applying pressure on JNaps, and then once Illusion had a hole, he was able to find that shot. Great work there for FaZe to start this off.
Patience from FaZe. And it's so important that Illusion doesn't pull that trigger too early. He needs to let AJ get out ahead of him and go for that play.
That's why that fake was so critical by Illusion. That half-second fake that Dazarin pointed out. If he doesn't do that, I don't think AJ has the time to get up to get that bump on JNaps.
And like you said, it seems like it's a chess game out there, Subi. And we see a pawn taken off the board with that demo. Ball out to the middle. Now Drees back to the middle, trying to make FaZe struggle. Use up boost. You see a double commit there, not the hardest hit. Drees looking for JNaps. JNaps now off the wall. We'll tap it down. Chicago with time. He's got JNaps to his right, goes hard off the backboard, bounces out to JNaps, and the equalizer comes through.
Chicago with time. You said it. That's a dangerous sentence. He plays it high, and guess what? It goes off the bar, but straight to JNaps, who's going to always place that in a tough spot for FaZe defense. They cannot allow G2 with time and space in the midfield, and you see why right there.
And you saw Illusion, he just had to respect that shot put on by Chicago, so it got him off the ground and essentially turns it into a 2v3, and great job there by JNaps to finish it off.
Chicago hitting the crossbar again, though, Daz. Important to note.
Got to keep track. We need a counter. We need a counter.
Oh, we got room up there on the new overlay.
The crossbar tracker. I have a feeling that would take up too much screen real estate.
We'll do it in post game.
I like the idea of that. See another shot coming through. Illusion. The pinch, couldn't get it around JNaps. Gyro, a high lob. Chicago, hard off the side. Drees going for the backboard. We'll let it through. Didn't have enough boost to stay on it. On that one, be a foot race. Drees will still clear it off to the side. AJ, double tap. Gonna now air dribble it out. Off the wall, Chicago up. Receives the pass from Drees, and Gyro will slow it down. JNaps coming into challenge for G2. Ball high up into the middle. AJ over to Gyro. You can see how quick Drees is up. Went for the drop down pass, but JNaps too far away. Now JNaps will have a chance to pass it over to Drees, who puts it down to Chicago.
No way.
Bottom corner, a 1-2-3 play for G2.
I can't believe it. They pull it off. I'm at a loss for words. What in the world? G2 pull off the 1-2-3 play. A minute left. They're on match point here in Series 1. And yet you still just cannot count them out at anything. I mean, this is just incredible from what we're seeing from them.
You legitimately can't draw a better play than that. That pass from JNaps, I was thinking, oh, wow, that's a great job getting that ball cleared. And then I saw that hit off the side wall thinking, where's that? Oh, Chicago's cheating up. Beauty of a play from G2 Esports. Especially during a tie game, all three members were pushed forward on that.
And that was a lovely pass yet again from Drees, who hits the crossbar himself. Under 30 seconds to go. G2 looking to close this one out. Drees, backboard pass. Ball leaking out to the middle. Chicago trying to control it, going for the 50. Ball stuck in the FaZe corner. Time running out. AJ in reverse will pop it up for Gyro. Gyro fakes it, but he can't get control of the ball, and G2 will take the first series in the set.
We saw almost every type of goal come out there from G2.
For real.
Between solo plays, between Drees in the game 1 OT score to what we saw in that game, this game 4, where you see the 1-2-3 pass play come out. G2 played their game, and we saw FaZe also come back there with some moments, but it's just unbelievable to see, these guys are here. They are here for championships.
And really, I was greatly impressed with Drees. You saw him facilitating those key moments, but the question always for G2 is, will their shooting be on point? Because we've seen them be able to generate the passing opportunities, but sometimes the shots aren't as accurate as they need to be. But in this series so far, JNAP, Chicago, Drees, they've all had big shots that have helped G2 get this first series. So a great start, Subi, for G2.
G2 take down that first set in 4 after we saw some really incredible highlight plays on both sides of the field. The question is, though, gentlemen, do FaZe have what it takes to bounce back?
Yeah, that's really the big question, because we saw glimmers of it and glimpses of greatness, but it's going to really focus on the team plays from FaZe, because we saw a lot of individuality, but not a lot of team passing plays outside of the Illusion pass off that side wall. So I want to see them really come together as a unit.
But really, you know, even looking back on that last series, 2 games going to overtime, and FaZe didn't win either one of them. So if they even just get one of those games, it could have been so different. But Wavepunk called AJ out, and I think AJ is that player you're looking to on FaZe in this situation to help get them in a situation where they can force that 3rd series in the set.
We're going to see if FaZe have what it takes to force that 3rd series. I agree. We saw Gyro stepping up mostly here, and we kind of expected to see something from Illusion and AJ, but not as much have that actually happened. As we ended up seeing G2 really just start to battle back. It's a lot of G2 offense right now, kind of picking up where they left off. They got this ball over here on the FaZe zone, but it's going to be AJ, who also gets a dim more in Chicago. This could open up some space. Gyro tries to get a flick, but look how fast Drees is to the ball. Gyro still maintains control, almost gets that one in. Illusion follow up, the shot's low, but Chicago's there. Can AJ wrap around it in time? No, Drees will knock it away, and FaZe will have to start over.
I think FaZe hit every single spot on that net, and G2 just had the entire thing covered up. Great defensive stance there from G2.
You know, honestly, FaZe made Chicago look like a crossbar amateur. I can't believe that FaZe did not score there. You especially saw the effort from Gyro. He got the ball, he flicked it, it left his possession, he got it right back, almost scoring. Oh
my goodness. Now you're starting to see FaZe just completely turn things around, but Gyro is left alone and is on back in. AJ hunting for Drees, but JNaps, you know, you got to get past him first. Usually you don't see JNaps up in the first man, but he is going to actually go back here, try to see if Chicago can play this one forward. It gets beat out, and Illusion picks up the second demo. That one, is it in? No, it's off target. And Chicago will take this one and clear it away from G2. FaZe, they're getting these strong drives upfield. They're setting up these lanes, but when it comes down to the final shot, it's just not there yet.
Yeah, in the first 2 minutes, 0 for 5 for FaZe Clan, and make it 0 for 7 after that one. They just cannot find their mark. Little left, little right, and a little too high, but everything but down the middle for FaZe Clan.
Halfway through the game now, the offense has just been mostly in favor of FaZe. Like Subi said, 0 for 7. G2's only had 1 shot on this entire game long, and they are looking to get back in the offensive front, but first they got to weather the storm that is FaZe.
They have 1 shot, Daz. G2 has 1 shot in this game.
We have actually seen, we've seen this play out even in the last series where G2 and FaZe have both had those stints in a series where they're alternating who's the team putting on all the pressure. And man, this might be the most one-sided game in terms of pressure that we've seen yet. And FaZe still might be finding themselves down, and they do. JNaps, a lovely shot to open up the score sheet.
Look at that. Gyro thinks he has a touch out, and JNaps picks it up pretty much in open net. And G2 say you can have all the pressure, but if you can't score, what's it for? 1 goal lead for G2 Esports as we're in the bottom half of game 1. They've already taken a set here on FaZe. They want to continue to keep things up here. FaZe trying to find a way in, but right now G2. Oh my goodness, that whiff from Chicago.
They're discombobulated right now, and I don't mean the old EU team before the rival series was out, but yeah, they're just, their rotations, the spacing is off for FaZe Clan, and they cannot get that follow-up shot when looks like G2 is starting to part the road on the goal line. It's just FaZe cannot muster the strength to get a shot on target.
Yeah, but also you have to give credit to Drees. Even on that last goal, you saw him not giving up on the play, and he actually tipped that ball, and that's how it found its way out to JNaps. It messed up whoever was making that clear attempt. And Drees, that might be my favorite aspect about his game, is you can just see the way he plays. Never gives up, and that one still doesn't go in. Oh, FaZe.
Oh, AJ, you can't miss those. That one was set up on a platter for him. And that's going to go the other way. G2 are going to be able to clear it in space. I don't know how much more pressure FaZe have in them. But we talk about that second man in the rotation, how that's one of the harder, if not hardest, roles to play in Rocket League, having to follow up, having to put that shot on. And we see why it's so tough even there for AJ. You'd think that he has a goal there. But alas, there's still a 1-goal lead for G2. Final 15 seconds. AJ with the flip reset. Gyro trying to get a bump on Chicago, but Chicago gets the save. Illusion trying to keep this in. They need something here on this drive. Here's Gyro playing this off. He has AJ. AJ with a hard touch, but not hard enough for G2. Chicago stays on it. Alusha keeps this one up, tries to see if he can keep the play going with that dive.
Oh,
but the dunk from Drees. And here we go. Can Gyro hold this one? Chicago's looking for the kill. AJ keeps it up, but I think it's going to fall there. And G2, yes, will take game number 1.
I cannot believe the amount of shots that FaZe Clan had on target. 12 in this matchup. And let's just highlight AJ. 0 for 7. And you gotta think this is a different story if he hits just one of those. But he had 3 open targets, open good looks that we're so used to seeing him hit.
And that last shot, that's a heartbreaker. If you're a FaZe fan, if you're an AJ fan, even if you're just a Rocket League fan, we want another overtime. And so to see AJ miss that shot, that's going to be really difficult for him to overcome, especially when he was the player we were pointing out, saying that he needs to step up to help get FaZe Clan over this hump. But you see this game, and it's tough not to write FaZe off at this point. G2, every moment in the last series that was high pressure, they were the team that came out on top. They were the team that pulled through. And then you see AJ in this high pressure situation where he needs to tie it up. He comes up short. So this is not looking good for FaZe Clan.
X2 had 12 shots that last game, but also 7 demos from FaZe. There's no way you can say that the offense was not there for that team.
That's all they had was offense.
Yeah, now they are struggling on defense. And JNaps with the first goal.
Drees gets the bump. Check him out on the goal line. It gets a demo, gets a bump, and it's wide open for JNaps.
Oh, man. Him and Rizzo have the same shoe size because he's fitting right in him. Being a nuisance, getting the demo, getting the bump, making it work. G2 out of the gate hot yet again.
Now, I know last set we didn't really know where the momentum was standing here, but I think it's safe to say it's all G2 right now. That went straight down. Chicago doesn't go for the shot. AJ will now have a chance to control this. Gets it past Chicago, does pick up that corner boost. JNaps clears it to get past one, but Gyro can still keep this in. FaZe looking like sharks, hunting for a shot chance. And it will be still a 50 to keep this one into the box. Honestly, a great chance because there was a double commit by G2, but AJ still on top of the ball. It's only been a minute in this game. It feels like it's much longer than that as these teams have been battling. And as close as much momentum as G2 have had, there's still all these other factors to take into account. The fact that last game was a 1-goal game. The fact that FaZe had all that offensive pressure. And even then, it's still something, it's just something about when you watch these cars on the field and how these teams are moving upfield and controlling the pace that you know that, okay, yeah, G2, they're in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, and I really feel like the last game was just a momentum killer for FaZe Clan. After getting all of those shots, it's just disparaging after doing it for so long. And here in game number 2, 0 shots for FaZe Clan now. Now they've just kind of turtled up saying, okay, what we did last game didn't really work, but in all actuality, it was working perfectly. They just didn't have the accuracy.
seems like G2 is smelling blood in the water and coming in for the kill because they have been all over FaZe. But we've seen this series, it can turn on a dime. And that big save going to keep G2's lead alive.
That shot came off of a Lucian. And when you see a Lucian on the ball, I mean, especially in terms of the shooting department, he's been really
That's
effective.
Be in, right? Oh
No.
my gosh!
Oh, no. No way that doesn't go in, Subi.
How did Chicago get back? And better question, how did Aleutian not get the strength to have that go in the back of the net? G2, luck is on their side.
You know, FaZe fans got to be hurting right now after that one. That's for sure.
I'm hurting after that one.
We're down bottom half of game 2. FaZe Clan still trying to get something going here in this game. They've been on a scoring drought, and you can see it starting to take a toll. Can G2 maintain this 1-goal lead as FaZe continue to put on, you know, an active, I can't even really describe it. They have all that successful offense. They're able to get the ball right in front of the goal line every single time. But G2, I mean, they still have the lead.
And, you know, I got to say, before this series is done, before this set is all done and dusted, I'm converted. I am a full-on believer. It's Drees. He is the truth, and he is what G2 has needed. He's holding down the back line so well. He's getting the demos and bumps. Watch AJ. He has to avoid him here, and it leaves it wide open yet again for Chicago.
And that is such a difficult play to make. If you're the last defender back, you feel for FaZe, Daz.
You do. Chicago has a lineup on a double. Drees is putting in pressure. Like you said, AJ last back. Even after all the shots that we've seen FaZe put on, G2 still are clinical on the offensive drive. These guys are like a monster. The way they are so effective.
Nice cut there on the ball from Chicago, keeping that in the orange box. And Drees cutting rotations, keeping pressure on that ball, keeping G2 alive in the offensive half, and not allowing FaZe Clan a look at the blue net. And they are just boxing in. FaZe Clan doing a great job, but still, FaZe a little boost in the tanks as G2 still working their offense, still getting demos, still putting shots on, and getting their third goal here in game number 2.
When G2 look like this, they look unbeatable. JNAB's banger of a shot into the top left section of the goal, but it's that offense that you see from G2 Esports. The infield pass plays, the connections, the man up front going for the demo.
Yeah.
They push these teams to their absolute limits on defense.
And that man up front going for the demo, that's Drees pretty much every single time. Drees having a phenomenal series. And we might see back-to-back shutouts if FaZe can't get one on the board here.
30 seconds left and a 3-goal lead for G2. I don't think they plan on dropping this one anytime soon. FaZe are going to really have to work in this next one to try to see if they can change the momentum. But this is the worst spot you want to be in, where this one we will end up watching count down. The way we've seen G2 come into this series from the start into how they're playing now. They were already a threat earlier on, but now it is absolute danger here for FaZe in their championship lives as G2 sets that one down and we're on set point.
You know, and it's time for FaZe Clan to call that tactical timeout because they need to really figure out what's going on. And with that being said, FaZe Clan taking a tactical timeout, gonna pull in Moopy to try and figure out what they can do to combat G2.
It's going to be really difficult. One thing that you're going to have to do is account for that demo and bump game that Drees is putting on. But also, the thing that really hurts if you're FaZe is that you have had good looks. You have had open looks, and you've not been able to put them away. And at this stage in the season, you've been playing all year for this opportunity, this chance to make a run, and they are not performing. And that's what has to hurt most. We'll see if FaZe can turn it around, but we're seeing G2 hit these incredible shots, play as a team, and FaZe, we can't say the same for them right now.
Yeah. You really teed it up in terms of just like how FaZe have worked so hard to get to this point. I mean, we saw it. We saw how it came down to, you know, that climax where they play against Shopify Rebellion. And to put all that work in, now they go against G2, a team that was fighting them also to get into this position. It's crazy to note, especially when you think of these two teams in their head-to-heads, how close they've been against each other. And now we see G2 just straight up just dominating the series.
Yeah, and we got a look in on Jazzo talking to G2 as well. And you got to think about, in this instance, how difficult it is also to close out not only a series, but a set. You've got one game in front of you where you could move on, and all the pressure is on your players right now. So you really have got to just pull them outside of this moment, calm them down, and just say, hey, we're just playing one game of Rocket League. That's all we're doing. Just keep doing exactly what you've been in this entire set, because so far it's been all G2 outside of one game that FaZe has had.
And G2, its offense has been so dynamic. And the thing that makes them so deadly is that triple threat with Drees hitting the level of play that he's hitting right now. G2 is a triple threat team.
Drees just got a demo, then a bump on the third man rotating back. He is just fully aggro right now, looking for anyone with an orange nameplate above him.
I love this. Especially just like hearing Subi with those call outs and demo bump. Like, that's how you know G2 are starting to work on offense. JNaps, he had such a quick turn there, but Illusion was able to get the demo, and now that double commit will buy FaZe some time here for the moment. And I say for a moment, as JNaps was so quick to push that one back into the orange half. FaZe on their last life. G2 trying to get things working. JNaps with a missed shot.
G2 picking up right where they left off in terms of possession and attacking power. And we've seen two back-to-back games now in this series where FaZe has not managed to score. The offensive drought is going to have to be something that FaZe overcomes if they hope to have life in these championships.
Great cut there from JNaps. He also gets the demo. Illusion, though, I think picked up that 100 boost. Chicago shot, MJ. Yeah, I think he pre-jumped that save.
He did.
My goodness.
That's how you play defense right there, ladies and gentlemen. Go beat that ball at the point of attack. Don't let the defender get a shot on target. Take every angle away from them, as Chicago going to slow things down. Look for a flick over off of the crossbar, and Gyro going to slow it up for FaZe Clan, but that's a dangerous pass as Illusion going to run downfield. He has Gyro available, but he couldn't get the touch on Drees. You saw him looking for that demo.
Drees so composed there. Being last back, you have two FaZe attackers coming in, and you still make the play. We're 2 minutes into this one, still neck and neck. And there it is, Drees with a big-time goal for G2.
Yeah, Drees here picks up the mid and just goes for it. Lucian a little too late for that one, and all it takes is a clean beat for the rising star of G2. Drees picking up the first goal here. And my, oh my, I was especially just concerned about how Drees will perform from seeing all of, just the come up and seeing the pressure and, okay, does he have what it takes? He has proven, if there were any doubters, he's proven them all wrong.
I guess if you want to just be a great player in RLCS, Subi, you should just be a sub and hope you get the chance, because that storyline has paid off a few times.
Absolutely. Drees, I mean, he is living up to the pressure and proving that he is a diamond in the rough. No amount of pressure is too much. And it honestly, it feels like he plays better with the more pressure on his back, because right now, regional championships alive and well, and I've never seen Drees play as well as he is here.
The G2 as a whole, we're approaching perfect sweep territory in this second series. And I did not think we would be seeing that.
You talk about that scoring drive from FaZe.
That's on. Oh!
This one might be on Chicago. Bang! G2 up by 2.
And it's off of this beautiful touch from JNaps. You see Gyro have to respect that. Even I thought it was on target, but it just kisses off of the crossbar, in Chicago there for the cleanup.
And that's even more difficult. If you're gyro there and you're on ball cam, you can't really see whether that's going to hit crossbar or not. You just have to go for it if it's close because you don't want to let a goal in without even going for it. So you see gyro getting pulled into that, and the crossbar bounce was the death of him.
Minute 30 left in this game. FaZe Clan, in terms of goal scoring, they are running out of time.
You know, Daz, and I really, in this last minute of gameplay or so, nice save there from Gyro. Hard to avoid Chicago and get the touch on ball. But, you know, this last minute of gameplay, I really want to get a look at these players' faces, specifically FaZe Clan. I want to see the amount of communication that's going on because we're going to get a look into their soul and see if they've given up or if they are just going to keep marching forward till that final second that's left on the clock.
Here we go, final minute. G2 still with all the pressure. FaZe looking for a way out. Honestly, looking for a miracle here. It's do or die time. Chicago plays this one up into space. There's Gyro, the shot, but Breeze gets to it. Follow-up chance? No, that's way off target. FaZe are swarming the G2 half, but as they take their time, their moments are running out. 30 seconds remaining. Down by 2. Gyro starting the drive. Oh, but it's set in midfield, and that clear from JNap's gonna kill even more time. Illusion, they need to score, and they need some time on the clock, but that clear just might do it. This ball on the back end, FaZe starting off this series on a really good note, but for G2, they came in, and it looks like they come into this second series to close it out in the dominating fashion, the most dominating way possible. G2 with the perfect sweep.
It's a breeze for Drees in G2, and it doesn't get any better than a perfect sweep to close out the set. This championship for North America is going to be incredible. You look at the level that G2 is playing at right now, and then if Space Station is playing at their potential, Rogue, NRG, Envy, anyone could win this. Anyone could win this championship. This is gonna be a banger. This is what a way to close out the season.
Stop, you're getting me too excited, man. We have all week to go, and I can't let it just completely go right now. I got to be able to hold it in. G2 is playing incredible, and just based off of that alone makes me so fortunate to be a part of this because G2 is coming alive and peaking at the most opportune time.
Oh my goodness. This series, I mean, to start this off, I knew Chicago, you know, we talked to him earlier on this week. He definitely said that, you know, G2, they feel like they can make a run. They really do. And we see it there in that head-to-head matchup. I cannot wait to see how far G2 go in championships, but we got to send it back to the desk to get their thoughts on the city.